I'm gonna bust this myth actually.
Well, that is an interesting statistic.
I think this one is more complicated than it first appears.
It's the British sense of humour in a nutshell.
Today, we'll be responding to some of the most prevalent stereotypes about British people.
Firstly, the British are very polite.
Politeness is behaviour that is respectful and considerate of other people. I think this one is more complicated than it first appears. There's definitely an air of politeness, like a surface level politeness, that perhaps makes people think that the British are very polite. And certainly you'll hear please and thank yous at appropriate times. But underneath the surface is definitely a passive aggressiveness that if you just listen a little bit more carefully, you'll hear that actually we're not that polite. A good example is saying, oh, bless her heart, when what you actually mean is, God, she's a bit daft.
In Watching the English, Kate Fox did a very interesting social experiment. She tried bumping into people deliberately on the tube, and almost invariably, those people apologised. Oh my goodness, that is me.
Me too. I think that's British people in general.
Exactly. I was told off at work because somebody actually bumped into me and I apologised.
I think we're very non-confrontational. We hate confrontation.
I really do.
It makes me feel so anxious.
I hate it.
The way we talk is just like to avoid any confrontation and to maintain this illusion of politeness, whereas actually, like I say...
Oh, we're bubbling and rumbling underneath the surface.
Yeah. So I would say that one's a myth. What would you say?
I think we are polite. I just think we are, and I think it's expected in our culture that we will always say please and thank you. So I think that is polite.
But like you said before, a lot of the time we say those things and we don't mean them. Like we'll say sorry just as a gut reaction to being bumped into. It's not always coming from a place of politeness. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you genuinely mean I'm sorry or thank you. But I think like what we're talking about is just the British in general. I don't know if that's polite. I think that's just a way of being that we have that to other people's ears sounds polite.
Yeah. Well, maybe you're right.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Truth or myth? Stereotype number 2 is sense of humour.
The typical British sense of humour is kind of dark and kind of sarcastic and ironic.
I'm going to dive straight in and say this is a true stereotype.
Okay, well, no, we haven't discussed it yet.
No, I don't need. I would say that this is completely true. British comedy and the British sense of humour is one of the things that I love about my country and actually make me feel very proud to be British. And I don't know, I think we're funny.
I think we are. I don't think we always intend to be.
No.
I think we're probably funnier when we don't intend to be, but it's always very cutting and brutal, from Faulty Towers to The Office.
Speaking of The Office, I have a quote from Ricky Gervais.
Oh, good old Ricky. It's nice of him to send us one.
Yeah. He says, there's a perceived wisdom in the UK that Americans don't get irony. This is of course untrue. But what is true is they don't use it all the time. It shows up in the smarter comedies, but Americans don't use it socially as much as Brits. We use it as liberally as prepositions in everyday speech. We tease our friends. We use sarcasm as a shield and a weapon. We avoid sincerity until it is absolutely necessary. We mercilessly take the piss out of people we like or dislike, basically. And ourselves. That is very important. Our brashness and swagger is laden with equal portions of self-deprecation. That is our license to hand it out. I think that's so true, and I think what's so important in there is the bit about being able to take it back yourself. Say what you want, but if you can't take it back, that's where you're going to make enemies. Not with what you say, but with the fact that you don't then take it back.
I think it amazes some people when they overhear us Brits talking to our friends. You know, if you hear a group of lads in the pub sort of chiding and having a bit of banter with each other, it is brutal.
Yeah.
But it's meant in good fun. I guess to some people's ears it would sound like they were being very insulting and nasty and mean, but in actual fact, it's all part of the banter.
I think that's how you know people like you, when they feel comfortable enough to actually tease you. And, you know, it can get quite harsh. But I think we all know when we've overstepped a line. And I think, you know, we'll all take a step back. Oh, that was too far, I'm sorry. But at the same time, like, if that happens, you're then allowed to rip back into the other person.
Yeah.
And that's just how we form social bonds.
Well, I think also it gets rid of some of that inner passive aggressiveness, because on those occasions we can kind of let it out.
Yeah, when you're with someone you're comfortable with.
I absolutely agree with Ricky Gervais. I think it's the British sense of humour in a nutshell.
Yeah. So I would say that is a truth, not a myth.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. We do have a good sense of humour, and we can laugh at ourselves, and we don't take ourselves too seriously.
Number 3. Lack of emotion.
There's that stiff upper lip stereotype, isn't there?
There is.
Which means basically that we don't have that quivering upper lip, we don't get upset, we hold it all in and we keep calm and carry on.
It's very un-British to show any weakness by showing emotion. So you don't see men cry. In fact, I don't even think I've seen my mum cry. I think we are perceived as being unemotional people.
I think there's a resilience, isn't there, about British people that I didn't really get until I lived abroad in a few different places.
Yeah.
I think, especially in my generation, we do certainly fall apart. You know, it's not probably as much of a stereotype as it used to be, but I think we all know when we need to pull it out of the bag.
Yeah.
And you know, I would say, having lived in a few other places, I do now recognise that. And I think, unfortunately, and this is something that I say that's not good, there's almost an embarrassment around people showing too much emotion. It's not seen as a good thing, and I think that's one of our downfalls, you know, and I think that's probably why we have a binge drinking problem. You know, we hold it all in, we bottle it all up, stiff upper lip, all of this stuff, and then you just need a release for that. So I think in response to this stereotype, I'd say it's not as strong as it used to be, but it's probably still there more than some other countries. Number 4, it's the big one, bad teeth.
Yeah, you do notice it in America. Everyone has got that wonderful smile and those bright, white, straight teeth.
The Hollywood smile.
Yeah.
Oh, do you notice that? I'm gonna bust this myth, actually.
Oh, go on, Lucy, bust the myth.
In reality, Brits have the 5th healthiest teeth worldwide. Guess where America is?
They must be first.
They're 9th.
You're joking.
Nope, not according to Wikipedia.
9 Americans? Oh my goodness, it's all on the outside. It's all gloss and no substance.
That's right, apparently so.
Oh my goodness.
Because having white, straight teeth doesn't mean you necessarily have healthy teeth.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, we do have good dental hygiene.
Well, that is an interesting statistic.
Yeah, so that one is a myth. Let us know if there's a British stereotype you'd like us to address in our next video.
If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, we'd really appreciate if you subscribe to our channel so you can see more videos like this. Hopefully see you next time. Bye.
Bye.